in our history, making the same mistakes as our ancestry. Seems like all of life lessons missed with. It's risky, so give praises. One day you may find your oasis. Rise up to the challenge you're faced with. Be your fool and creative. You'll make it. It's basics. People been doing it for ages. In many other cultures and places. On a regular basis.
You're true to the midday meditation here on the Galaxy of the Week. .net on the Blacknificent radio show.
Man, way too much time has been wasted. Man, building military bases. Fighting a war with no basis. Life is sacred. And every baby born naked. Some are not one like them raised big. And don't care what they're making. They can't take it. So speak life. All this darkness not feel right. Man.
True to the midday meditation here on the galaxyofwe.net. What a beautiful day we are facing right now. Huh? What a beautiful day. One more. Let's have one more reference.
Yeah. I love to hear you talk. I love to see you smile. You're a cool operator. Girl, I wish you were mine. I ain't got the money, no silver or dime. All I want from you, baby, to love me all of the time. I love the way you walk. I love to hear you talk. I love to see you smile. You're a cool operator. Girl, I wish you were mine. Yeah, yeah. Good God. I ain't got no money, no silver or dime, baby. But all I want from you, honey, is to love me all of the time. I love the way you walk. I love to hear you talk. I love to see you smile. You're a cool operator. Girl, I wish you were mine. Yeah, baby. I said I love you for more than one reason. I really love you. Baby, I really love you.
Mm-hmm.
I see them fight with the ones to bring the peace. But more than talk, more than wild. Tell the little youth to take the mark of the place. Yeah, man, I am to this. So, love and peace, north and east. Tell me who is gonna secure the peace? Them talk about love, yet the war increase. Me want to know who are the real world police. Cause them a fight, fighting for power, them a fight. Every minute of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what them a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every second of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what them heart is dirty and them mind wants power. Them breed confusion, them a be a bell power. Them treat poor people in a rice and flour. Them come to conquer, but them go and get devour. Now truth and rights are go sing for the power. A good over evil in the battle of Adowa. Them judgment bigger than the days of power. Them nuclear have to get a lick. Yo, them a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every minute of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what them go and get damaged now to how things set up. Them just can't manage and them run down take up. If fight against the truth, no a lie, them a make up. Oh, them a go make up, we still a see I wake up. Mystery Babylon, now we no dare start wake up. Cause everywhere you see them, well you know say you take up. I innocent people, them a wake up and a let up. And I send them check up, but them a go get wet up in a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every minute of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what them a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every second of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And I saw my bearing from the government. Some said the prime minister, some said the president. And all me know is that the message in the resident. The innocent victim are the evidence. We God, me know them now no conscience. That's why them live up in a nonsense. So we tell them take the kids and them go jump over fence. So they end up in a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every minute of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what south and west, north and east. Tell me who is gonna secure the peace. Them talk about love, yet the war and peace. Who are who are the real world police? Cause them a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight. Every minute of the hour, them a fight. Them sweet and go so what them talk about love. And look out, they know what them a fight. Fighting for power, them a fight.
Just like the dew that cling to dawn, I'll cling to you, my love. I can't erase the memories of things we used to do. Oh, how I love you, girl. Oh, how I love you. Now I sit alone with memories by the storm. You remind me of the golden sun that shines after the storm. Oh, how we used to plant a line in dreamland for us both. Now you have shattered our plan and got yourself another man. Now I sit alone with memories by the storm. pray the stars may safely keep and watch you while you sleep. And day by day the sun will shine as you trot along the way.
Greetings, my brother.
Yeah, good rising. I hope that we can have a conversation. I hope my rhyme is not too bad today.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
I was.
yeah.
You know what I was looking at? I was looking for a Nigerian leader that became the first president of Nigeria. The name just slipped my mind at the moment, you know. But anyhow, I will find it. I will
Um,
find it. I will
yeah,
find it.
yeah, yeah. I've forgotten. I can't remember
He's the
his
one.
name
He's the one
either.
with
But
the
all I
one. He had
know
the
is
big. He
that
had a big white mustache. Um. Uh.
no, I can't. I cannot
Okay.
remember him. But
Okay.
what
Okay.
what I'd like to say is that in 1975,
Mm.
I know that there was. I mean, the president when because Saudi Arabia came into oil and things like that,
Mm.
and Nigeria came into oil, and you had the president of, I mean, the king of Saudi Arabia, King Faisal,
Mm.
who was a
Mm. Mm.
mindset of a man. The mind of Dubai, the guy in Dubai now is I think he probably take a leaf out of his book,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Oh, here we
he
go.
wanted to. He went and spoke with the president of Nigeria
Mm.
and said,
Mm.
"Look, we don't need the West.
Mm.
With your oil and our oil,
Mm.
and with the wealth,
Right.
we can liberate we can liberate the poverty of
Mm.
Africa."
I have it. I have him now. I have him now. It's Herbert McCleary.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
McCleary.
And as you know, within Nigeria in the early days,
Mm.
I mean, within every year they basically had a coup or overthrow or whatever like that.
Exactly. Exactly.
And that president, after they had that meeting, within several months, both of them was dead.
Mm. Mm.
So you see how these Western people is. They just don't want our people, and
Mm.
it's amazing how many of our people just don't seem to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That they don't really love us. They don't care about us in any shape or form.
Listen, that is exactly the point that I wanted to bring to emphasis, right? That over the past few strongs here on Galaxy, we have been covering some subjects, right? And in their analytical view of listening, it is obviously highlighted and it's triggered a lot of subject matters which they are not approving of. So even if we're speaking and we're bringing facts to the table, they are blocking our programs being broadcast, right, in certain areas. So what you will find is that yes, we can hear it from here in the UK, parts in the Africas, right? Only parts, you know. And the reason why that is because they don't want other people to hear what we're saying because we're speaking a truth that could be influential to what's happening in those areas around the world, right? Example,
Hmm.
example. And this what happened? It was highlighted through our sister Shanice show, and she mentioned it. She mentioned that that when she done a look to say why is my listenage gone down, right?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
she gets a good few thousand
Yeah,
on her
listeners,
listening,
yeah, yeah.
right? She gets a good few thousand, right? And all of a sudden it's just dropped. And then when
Hmm.
she was looking at where it was actually being broadcast to, right, or streamed to,
Hmm.
they had put a block on some of the areas. And
Hmm.
I thought to myself, wow, why would they do that? And then like looking through the subject matter, it wasn't too dissimilar to what she had been providing before. And then I thought maybe it's her guests, and I'm thinking, well, some of them are repeat guests on there. So I thought, this is something else, and I tested it. I tested it because sometimes I'm broadcasting on my platform, and I do a live feed to Facebook as well, and a live
Mm-hmm.
feed to YouTube. And what you will find is that they will occasionally stop the feed. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
noticed on my last show that they stopped the feed. Right, they probably even do it
Mm-hmm.
now. They probably even do it now as I'm speaking here because I've got a live feed now. And what they do, right, is that they will. Hold on, let me just check. Let me just check it. If it does it, I will tell you. Right. What they will do is that they're obviously in the listening, right? It's not like they're listening direct, but but any form of information that is being given out, any form of computer messaging, it's all being analyzed, right? So don't think that you can do anything secret or secret. That is just fallacy. It's all through
Well,
the movies.
exactly. It is a fallacy. I
Yeah,
mean, that's what I'm trying to tell
yeah, yeah,
people. You either have to be brave enough to
yeah.
go out there and do and say what you have to
That's
say,
right. That's right.
because
That's right.
the fact is they can, because technology these days, the way
Mm,
that technology is,
mm.
it's very difficult to hide anything.
That's right.
Very,
That's
very
right.
difficult.
That's right.
So
And
therefore,
you
you
are.
either have to go out there and tell the truth, speak it as it is,
Yeah.
or shut up altogether.
That's
Simple
right.
as that.
That's right.
Because
All
that is
all these
what I'm
people.
finding.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
All these
Yeah,
people feel
sorry.
that all
Yeah.
these people feel that they can outsmart the technological um devices what's out there and everything else, and stop the waves and all that type of thing there. Hmm. Hmm.
No, you
Okay.
can't do it. You can't do
You
it, and
can't do
that's
it.
what
You
I'm
can't
saying.
do it. Let me tell you, put it
That
that way.
I've been listening to many different things
Mm,
here,
mm,
and people are waking up, and I'm saying I think Dr. Ariakana and Magufuli opened up a new can of worms,
mm,
and
mm.
and Professor Lumumba, because
Yes.
they are going around and they are saying, and people, it's not like before
Mm,
where people were not getting the information.
mm.
People people go to, that's why they don't like people to be educated, because when people
That's
become
right.
educated,
That's
they
right.
start questioning.
That's
And that
right.
is what we're seeing in the rise of Africa now.
Well,
Because,
then again,
you see,
you just look at the stumbling and bumbling that most of these politicians are actually experiencing now, right? They
hmm
can't even string together a contextual answer, right? You ask them one question and they're going to tell you about something else.
hmm
Yeah,
hmm
right. So it's very rare you will have, like, politicians of the day when they actually answer your question directly, whether you like it or not.
yeah, and I mean, even as I said, here
Mm,
in the US and in Europe, they
mm,
try to, I mean, they use the media very well in the
mm,
way that they work the media.
mm,
I mean, as I said, when Jeremy Corbyn came in
mm.
and he pointed out, look, I thought was a great manifesto and for the people, and
Mm.
I'm surprised that he lost the election, because he said, look,
They're not ready.
if I,
We're not ready.
well, I'm telling you, because when he came in, he said, look, I will bring cooperatives into the picture, because
Mm.
the point is all these, because you remember there was a lot of massive companies closing down.
Mm-hmm.
Map lanes
Mm-hmm.
that I used to get my electronic equipment from for years, back in the day,
Mm.
and all these big, massive buildings closed down,
Mm-hmm.
no longer exist. And he said, no, if I become prime minister, I will. These places, because I'll put it in the hands of the people,
Mm. Mm.
right?
Mm.
Not the hands in the hands of just a few rich people. No,
Yeah.
I'll put it in the hands of ordinary people,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they wouldn't be closed down.
Well,
And I'm surprised that the people didn't. It's like they didn't even hear what he had to say.
no,
You
I'm
know.
not surprised. I'm not surprised, right? Because prior to Corbyn actually becoming leader of that political party, there was a massive influx of conservative membership application. And what they were saying is that it was oversubscribed, right, for MPs and everything. So what they did, what those conservative members did, they applied to go into the Labour Party, right? So when you're there and you're thinking, oh yeah, well you've got a load of new people coming in onto the Labour Party because they were dwindling in membership, and you had a load of them come through on into the Labour Party, and then they put themselves up for MP and everything like this. But in effect, what happened is that the Conservative Party flooded the Labour Party with their own people, right? So that even if they have a vote, right, Labour will never get the majority again. They will never get the majority again because of all of the Conservative members that are in the Labour Party as it stands now. So when you say about Corbyn's manifesto, right, no matter what he said, he was not going to. He was not going to be, and that is why you had that massive revolt there. You had a massive revolt, and it weren't even to say, "Oh, we've got a better person, and we've got somebody who's going to be pushing forward, and he's going to take the party forward." They just wanted to get him out.
Exactly.
That's
And that is what
wanted.
is happening. That is what has been happening around the African countries and so forth. Right? When you study the amount of leaders in Africa that has been taken out. Why? You know what I mean? And right now, something disturbed me this morning. I was watching in Sudan, the problems in Sudan, and oh my Lord, our people treating our own people in such a barbaric way. Hitting them with stones. I sent you the clip. I don't know if you say you're on your show at the moment. So I don't know if you get to see it because I just sent it not about an hour ago. And it's you have to see it, brother. It's terrible what's happening in Sudan right now. You know what I mean?
Well,
right?
even with those, even with things like that, right? You're saying, oh, this is terrible and everything else, right? Okay, then like they accuse Gaddafi of human rights and all this type of thing there. Now imagine now, as a result of the how things were when he was in charge there, or his family. I won't say him, but his family as well was in charge there. Now there was also a resistance to him actually doing things for his people, right? So the people who they say that, oh, they look how he's treating his people. These were the ones who came there, and they were deliberately going to resist against what he was doing for his people.
Yeah, right? Because they some of them want that position of power.
That's right.
And they would have basically, when the person had, as I said, also the domino effect. I mean, the domino effect of people coming to learn about, wait a minute, because everybody thinks, oh, Europe is the best place, America, England. But when you see a man who's developed a place where his people, look, as he said, I will not build my mother a house until everybody in the nation have a house. You know what I'm saying? When you have, a car, you have fuel free, you have education free, whatever subject you want to do, he will.
And people wanted to stop that.
And stop that.
They wanted to stop it.
Because it will have a domino effect, because they don't want people to see that they can have a better life than what Europe has been pushed out there.
Right. And those were his own. Those were people who his own people. They wanted him out. Okay. Now that the Americans the Americans went in there along with their allies, and they go there and they're imposing their rule and everything. Look how the thing mash up now. Look how everything mashed up and devastated. Admittedly, there was wars and everything, and there was battles and things like that. What was going on there, but there was nothing to sort of like say, you know what, we've got the infrastructure here. Let's just maintain and sustain this, and then improve upon it, and then see how things go. No, they totally flattened it all.
But here's a shout, right? Because sometimes watching that news of what was happening in Libya, okay, and the many of them turned on the foreigners who were there, and who were the foreigners? Many of them were Nigerians, right? Nigeria, which is one of the biggest populated country and powerful country in Africa. Did it do anything for its own citizens who were there and has been killed? Now they want to go into Niger on behalf of the Americans and the French because they wanted that. But when their own people was being killed in Libya, did they do anything?
No.
Nothing.
No.
You see where I'm coming from, right? And I'm watching that. Wait a minute. A lot of these people who are being murdered by these people in Libya are Nigerians. Where's the outcry from Nigeria?
Exactly. And this is the thing that we have to say, because like, look, war is war. War is war. Even if I go there with waving my little white flag about let's all get together and let's all be peaceful. You're my brother. Why are we killing each other? Even if I go there with that in my heart and that in my speech and that with my intentions, guess what? I'm going to be shot at. Shot at.
Yeah.
Right?
But I'm saying.
Therefore, no. Yeah. Even if we go with our utopianism of boy, we need to live together now. We need to come together. There are gonna be those who are gonna say no, we don't want you here. We don't want that here. Yeah.
Well, that is the sad part at the moment. There's still a group who is saying, look, we want this. Who is waking up? You understand me. But there's still a group who is lagging behind.
Yep.
And this is the problem, and that's what we have always faced. We've always faced the situation where we have enemies within.
We are very fortunate. We are very, very fortunate, right, that we are living in a place of where we have I would say limited now freedom of speech. We are very, very, very fortunate, right? I know it might rub some people up the wrong way for me to say it like that, but and it was emphasized a few strongs ago, right? That I think it was Brother Kwabna who came on, and I think it was kind of like misconstrued or misinterpreted what he was saying, right? We can come here, we can have this conversation. If we were in certain other places around the world, we could not.
There's no way you could have.
We could not have this conversation, and it literally would be a life-threatening situation. If somebody overheard us speaking about this, they could literally drag us into the street and shoot us in the head straight away.
Look, I was in Grenada when Gary was there. Okay, you understand? Okay, when Gary was there, and it's like there was flies on the wall. Listen to your conversation. This conversation you could not have in.
There you go.
In Grenada. You find your mother's house burned down. This is disappeared and all that sort of thing, right? People don't realize, what Gary was doing to his people when Bishop had to come in, because that guy was a tyrant.
There you go.
You understand me, right? You couldn't have. I'm telling you, I was there, and you couldn't have. As soon as you open your mouth, shut up, because somebody's afraid. If you have a conversation and they wonder, wait a minute, who is listening? That's how terrible it is. And it's like that in many African countries as well.
And there you go. So, you know, some of us may go around, but why they shouldn't be doing this and they should do that and this. No, that is not the case in any way whatsoever, right? What is the case? What is the case is that there are people out here, right? We will come and then put our 2 pence worth in, right? And then not understanding the dynamics of what people are living in the under, right? And then expect them to make changes, right? It unfortunately it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. That is why you have to be strategic in how you make things happen. It's like us when we go to certain places in the Africa, so we would like to go and live there, right? Why do so many of us, and I'm talking from a factual thing, yeah. Why do so many of us fail? It's because we come with our attitude, and I'm jump in it. We come with our attitude of westernized utopianism, of everybody's going to get on and you know land of unification and everything like that, not realizing that there are still wolves and tigers out there who are ready to nyam you.
Well, as I said to you, you know, I put out an idea across the pond, across every look. As I said, you know, about Africa being closed down, right? If we want to change the narrative in those places, and many of our leaders has been thrown when they try to close their country down, okay, right? Because they know the dangers of the countries closing down. And that is what the people need to be learning and be educated about. And I hear Professor Lumba talking about it as well. Shut Africa down. As I said, I learned these things from my country, my little country I came from. People will have to take. If you don't, you just keep them over the time, right? And that's the only way that, as I said, the Africans can raise up. And as I tell our people who is going from the diaspora into Africa, form cooperatives, come together. All the diasporans going in with their little £50 or $50 a week or a month, whichever they want to put into the pool, and create business to drive these other people out. Because you cannot be challenging how are you going to win over the Lebanese? How are you going to win over the Chinese? How are you going to win over the Indians? How are you going to win over the Arabs who are there with their business? If you don't develop a business bigger than them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that is another thing, is that, you know, when you see one man, there's about 200 people behind that one man, you know, right? You've got a whole family that's behind that, right? We as diasporians and African and Caribbean descendants, whatever, right? We always thinking independent, me-ism, right? The thing is that if we go there, and just like what you're saying there, we have to go as a collective. So even if there's 10, 20 families, right, you have to be dedicated to raising yourself as a community. Yeah, you can't be,
most certainly.
You can't,
as I said, if you take all
the person who stands on their own,
foreigners that has gone into the Gambia, right, and I'm not saying all, because I know, for instance, that all of the people who have gone over to Africa don't have any money. Some of them just decide that enough is enough.
Yeah, they're just gone and they're just making their way through.
So, but there's some who can afford $50 at least a month. And if there's 500 or 1,000, and they keep pooling that money into the resources, right? They can take over the markets, you know, the Lebanese market, the Indian markets, and everything, right? Once we build that strength. But there's no way that, and on top of that, you're also building a situation where you know, there's something which is called, say, how to win friends and influence people, right? Now, the factor is, when all people see us going back, they say, hey, glad. I remember when we was putting up our factory, right? And the people were saying, man, when are you going to finish this factory? We want to work for you because we don't want to work for those Indians because, you know, they don't treat us well, you know? So we want to work, you know? So when are you going to finish your factory so we can get jobs to work? You understand? You see? Right? And this is the sort of mindset that I'm saying. We can change the narrative, right? Look, when I was building my house there, in the morning by 6 o'clock, before 6 o'clock, 40, 50 people waiting to see, can they get a job? You understand, right? Because the contractor will then select who he wants in the morning. 40, 50 people. And I'm saying, boy, you know what? I wish I had the ability to be able to do more. You know, you understand what I'm saying, right? And if we don't, you go back with your empty hands, and people will say, wait a minute, where are you coming? You're not helping us. We have to go there with a mindset that the people can look at us and say, look, you know what, we're glad you're coming because now, look, you're creating jobs for us. You're creating, you understand me? They can see you doing something positive. You follow what I'm saying? Because as I said to you, there was a brother, Nairi gave him 1,000 acres. He did nothing with it. Right? Nothing. And he's begging the government to give him money to do that. My wife is saying, you must be crazy. You come in and at least they give you some the opportunity. The government is struggling to feed his own people. And you want them to, you know, you should be coming and giving them something.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, right? Come back out and get people to come back in with the money.
They never take it serious. They never take it serious.
You understand what I'm saying, right?
Because like even okay, then you have 1,000 acres now. Why you can't get 10 of your friend them to come and say, yo, listen, I'm going to split this between all our way and we just move together and make something out of
exactly.
this. Yeah?
Exactly.
100 acres each. 100 acres each.
And,
yeah.
My brother, you know, and the man end up now the government have to take it back.
But no, he want it, again, as I say, he want to do it all by himself. He want it all for himself.
For himself.
Right? How much food you can eat off a plate?
And that's what he went to Nair to say, we want land, you know, because Nair gave him the land for his people. Say, okay, if you know, because that's the argument he put to Nair. And I see the documents, so I know that it was genuine. You understand me? I see all the documents. My wife, she studies law. I give it to her. She sees the documents. She said, these are genuine documents. Okay? 1,000 acres of land, right? You know? And instead of coming back out here and getting people to come and say, well, look, brother, we now have 1,000 acres here. Let us go and do something with it. 1,000 acres, that I'm telling you how big it is. It's twice the size of Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Twice the size of Hyde Park.
Yeah.
Right? That's the amount of land that this man has. And you're telling me you do nothing with it? You understand what I'm saying, right?
I know.
And these are the problems that we are facing. So when we go back and we don't do anything, then why would the people be looking forward to us? Because they see, well, hey, wait a minute, the Chinese come in and he's giving me some job, whatever it is, or the Indians come in, they're giving me some job. It might be poorly, or they might be treating badly, but they say, well, at least we can get some money to pay our school fees or something. But when we come back, what are we doing? You know, we have to create a situation where we're going to try to uplift the people. You follow what I'm saying, right?
Well, that is usually our intentions. That is usually our intention. The thing, there's always this statement here, right? Dance a yard before you dance abroad, right? And is, this is a question that I'm posing to you, right? And I'm posing to all the listeners out there. Is it easier? Do we find it easier to do something abroad than what we do here? Right?
Because it's not only that, but what I want to show to you, because I was having this discussion with my wife yesterday. Your 200 pounds, okay, can carry you a lot further in Africa than what it can carry you in UK. Example, if you want to make 2,000 pounds, just buying properties and renting them out in England, okay? To get a property like that, you need to be buying a property over 500,000 pounds, right? 2,000 pounds can build you 10-bedroom hotel, or what they call B&B, whatever it is, right? Each room giving you $25 or $25 a night, okay? Right? In a year, you can make over $40,000, $45,000, $50,000 out of those 10 for 2,000 pounds, right? I mean, for 200,000 pounds. Look at what you have to spend in England in order to generate, and you will not be, and you'll be getting a less income. That's the potential of Africa right now. Okay. I mean, here, I just went because my sister is in the nation, so I went with her to a few nation brothers who have, because one nation brother is encouraging others to buy farmland. Yeah. And I went to one. He had 25 acres of land here in the U.S., and another one had 30 acres. Where they're doing farming and so forth. Yeah. Right. So what I'm saying is, in Africa, the same money that they put here could have probably buy them over 200 acres of land.
Basically, right? It's only a case of that that things would go further in Africa.
Much further in Africa. Let me ask a question. There in UK.
Let me ask you another question, and we're joined by our sister Sandra as well, right? Greetings, greetings, sister Sandra.
Yeah. Greetings. I've enjoyed listening to the conversation.
All right. Let me just turn the volume up a bit. Okay then. Yeah. So what there's a question. I don't know if you was here following the conversation that I just what we just had. Was he able to do that?
Yeah, I was able to hear and listen to bits of it.
Great. Okay. The question, and I put it to you because obviously the cost of actually putting or starting a project, right? It could be the influence of like the make or break. For instance, if we do a project over here now, to hire a venue to facilitate that, you're probably looking about between like 500 to possibly 2,000, 3,000, all depends, like if you want to go from a community hall or a hotel residence, right? Okay, so obviously you don't want to do it at a loss. God, getting cramped in it. You don't want to do it at a loss, right? So obviously, you're gonna charge like probably ticketed event and everything else, right? Now, if we take that into consideration and what Brother Akram is saying, that 2,000 to 3,000 could literally could probably sustain you for the year if you were just hiring venues then. Would that be correct, Brother Akram?
Where?
Yeah, what I'm saying is that the money that you spend in UK, right? I mean, in business and so forth, developing business, right? It can carry you a lot further. Like I was saying to the Professor Gosmo one time, right? Because I had a friend of mine who had a place and she was struggling. The place, it was worth almost £1 million in the UK. Right? You understand me, right?
Yes.
I said, why don't you downsize? Downsize the place, okay? Right? You can still buy another place in England if you still want to have a place, right? You know, because you're in London, you can move outside of London, buy a place which is maybe, you know, out of that for maybe £200,000 or something like that, right? You can then take another 3 to 400,000 out of that into Africa or the Caribbean, whichever it is, right? Or especially in Africa, right? And as I said, for me right now, the way I see things, hotels or places to stay is an up and coming thing. As the population of Africa increases, property is one of the ways to go. Either you're renting them directly or you're doing B&B or hotels, whatever it is, right? Because over the years, because as I said, I'm a taxi driver in London, I see hotels are growing up like trees in England right now. Okay?
Yeah.
It's growing up like trees. Almost every week there's another hotel being built. Right? Because people are traveling and they need somewhere to stay. And Africa is the same. As people are developing, as people are becoming more and more with money, you have holiday peoples, you know, people who is working in offices in town. Hey, I want to go somewhere with the weekend with my sweetheart. You know, I want to go and stay somewhere you know, you understand me? Because even right here now, one of the brothers who have a hotel here in the States where I am, he started to do that. Because here in Atlanta, he said, okay, somebody said, hey, I want to get out of the city for a few days. And because he's got some rooms on the land, I say, hey, we'll go down there and we'll stay down there for a few days with the children. You understand what I'm saying? You see? So this is something that can make money, you know, without too much hassle in these days. So what I'm saying is you downsize, you still have your place in the UK, right, if you want to. Because, you know, you might say, well, maybe I need medical, maybe I this or whatever you want to. So but that place can give you so much. You can, as I said, you can have several properties which will give you a lot more money than to buy another, you know, to let in England. You follow what I'm saying?
Okay,
right?
but you know what? Okay, then I understand the financial element and all that, but is you know what? Okay, to put it succinctly, right, and directly to the point, certain places in Africa is not for everybody.
Well, no, it's not.
Right,
but Africa has got 50-something countries. You got to remember. It's not everywhere there is problems, right? It's not everywhere that there are problems. Okay, there are places in Africa which is quite safe.
Yeah.
Where there's no problem.
I personally feel that, you know what, if you come with a trouble attitude, you're going to get trouble. So, right? So, you know, and it is a case of that, you know, do your due diligence and everything, and you know what, just go and enjoy yourself, and then, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is for whatever it is, and there's hopefully you won't come across those massive wars and disruptions in the area that you go to. Anyhow, because
well, as I said, there's 50-something countries. Maybe 20 of them got problems, but there's another 30 that doesn't have. So you have to do your due diligence. Like, for instance, Malawi. There's never been a problem in Malawi. You know, very nice country. I've been there. That's the first country I touched down in Africa. Is Malawi. Very nice country. Have you ever heard any problems about Malawi? No.
Many years ago. I'm talking over Wow.
No,
Over
the only
40
thing,
years,
the only
over
thing that
40
was
years ago.
with Malawi, the only thing with Malawi when I went there, there's a man called Banda, okay, and he has an English setup in his head. You know what I mean? He like everything to be in that way. But what I'm saying is there was never any fighting, uprising, or nothing like that. In all the years that I've known Malawi. I mean, I've been in Africa for 30-something years, and that's the first country that I've touched on. Beautiful country, I've swum in the lakes, water skiing, everything in the lake, and things like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? And there's never been a problem in Malawi, and even until today, you don't hear anybody. I mean, in fact, there's an article going out about a Jamaican who is a millionaire in Malawi, because he went down there many years ago and set up business and so forth, and you know, there's a program on about him. Maybe you can find it on YouTube, you know, talking about Malawi. But I'm just saying that's one country. You have Botswana. There's no problem in Botswana either, you know. And there's other countries which is fairly okay. I mean, apart from the South Africans wanted to fight in Namibia, there's no fighting in Namibia. We're all brothers. You understand me? So there are places there that things mean, okay, even in Ghana, there's no fighting really going on in Ghana, apart from since the overthrow of our brother there, you know, I mean, the founding leader, Kwame Nkrumah, there's never really been any really fight and uprising there, you see. So there are places which is safe in Africa to go to, or fairly safe anyway, you know. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, okay then.
People should not be afraid. People should not be afraid. Do your due diligence and says, well, okay, fine. But if you have that kind of money, I'm telling you, that's why I said I had no intention to be saying. When I went there, I see the potential. I said you can dream the American dream, or whatever you dream you want to dream. You can dream far bigger in Africa, because your money will go a lot further in Africa in the development of what you have.
Okay then. All right then. Okay then. Right. Greetings, my sister Sandra.
Greetings.
All right.
Bit of feedback there, and I'm believing that you're talking, but I can't.
Yeah. No. I was taking a call and dealing with you at the same time. You see, we can multitask. It might look horrible, but it works.
But I would say the same for women. We make the assumption that we can multitask, but the question is, how much of your brain energy are you focused on one aspect and neglecting the other?
I true that. Has the breeze eased off now over there now?
Yes, in many respects, yes.
We're talk. When I say the breeze, we're talk for those who are in the listening. We're talking about the hurricane season. Yeah,
we've been lucky or fortunate. Nothing has actually hit and done anything major, as in they've not spoken about it. So they often give you tips and hints in terms of what to do from a preparedness point of view. But there isn't anything in terms of, we've had rain, but we need rain. But we've not had any high breeze or anything like that, or any warnings of Hurricane X, Y, Z in the area.
Right. Hold on. Let me see. Have I got his number on there? Just a moment, brother Akram. I just want to check something here, because I've been asked to forward. Let me just see something here. Have I got it? Right. Then I've got it on here. No. Why is it I can't see it? I don't know why I can't see it on here. Let's see. Oh yes, I got it here. Right. Yes. Continue, my sister. I'm just gonna write down something here that I need to just write down. Go ahead.
Okay. So, in terms of your conversation and as how far the money can go, the question I'd ask or put out there is how big are we? How large or how big are we thinking? So, if we're only thinking that I'll take an acre and I'll do something with the acre, or are we thinking the size of Hyde Park times two? What are our proposals? So as far as
that's a big project for one person or one group of you.
Yeah, but the question is, you may not necessarily be the person who. It's exactly as the brother was saying in terms of people queuing up and wanting work or wanting an opportunity. There are people out there that want the opportunity, but like I said, how big are your dreams?
Okay, then, like for instance, now to put together a project of that is gonna take on, like, let's say 50 acres. Say 50 acres, right? Which is a small, I say small district, a reasonable area like what you would have in London, right? Probably about what, 200 to 300 homes, right? But imagine now you're gonna be putting that as a project together, right? And that's only 10% of what Brother Akram was saying. Infrastructure, roads, electricity, and then you're going to put the housing on top of that as well, right? Housing, schools, um, hospitals, and everything else on top of that. You're talking millions, you know. And it's not a case of that everybody has that as a uh, has that in their back pocket to say, right, this is what we're going to actually invest in. You know, you'll have to be moving in that circle to say, okay, then I can utilize 1,000 acres, right? And I can actually put homes into this area, right? Most of us would struggle with an acre.
Well, I just want to show you, as I said, we went to the brother's farm there, okay? And as I said, from what I learned, the brother has been encouraging others instead of just buying a house somewhere. If you have the money to get farms, because here in America, I mean, obviously land must be fairly cheap in the context. Maybe it's not so as taxing, because even houses over here, because I mean, I've just into my daughter's place here, and brand new place. Now the whole area, Surrey, if you've ever been into Surrey, it's a very luxurious place, and many of the places that I see over here, that is like that.
Hold on,
and the houses
just a moment, brother Akram. You have to tell the people where you are at this particular time, because they may think that you're in Africa, but you're not, are you?
No. I'm in the States at the moment.
Right,
the brother's places that I went to visit here in America at the moment. Okay, and I'm just saying what they are doing on the farm, and what the brother is encouraging other, because the brother is in the nation, and he's trying to encourage others to, instead of staying in the city, to come outside of the city and encourage them to take land and develop and so forth. And he was just telling me, he can just make money from just people coming and horse riding in his place. He doesn't need to, he keeps horses, and people wants to ride horses and things like that. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just showing that the different things that can be done on a farm, but in Africa you can produce. He does produce as well. He said he used to keep cattle and sheep and goat. Said goats a bit problematic because the goats, they eat everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
then again, what, sheep and goats are useful for doing that, because I know that a friend of mine who used to live live out in the country over Yasso in England, right? He was grateful for when the goats came down, the sheep came down, because he didn't have to cut the grass them or anything like that.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you know, he's there. He's got 30 acres, and he's quite happy, you know, quite comfortable. And I'm saying it's a better environment, you know, than to be here, to be locked up in London. You see, and the point is, what I'm saying is, in Africa, I mean, as I said, I've just sold. I had over almost 50 acres, but I spent more money developing, trying to do other things. But had land been my thought at the time, I could have had land in the last 30 years. You know, if that was my concentration when I went to Africa, I could have had land as big as Heathrow Airport, because the you know, land is within our grasp. As I said, if you have 500. If you have a property in England that's worth 500,000 to $1 million, my lord, you can live in Africa like a king. And that was what I saw when I first went to Malawi. When I first went to Malawi, over 30 years ago, when I see the person in, you know, he has a big house, he have a big lawn that you can have tennis and things playing in there. They have somebody to take care of the home, you know what I mean? Because people are looking for employment. So you're going to have a servant taking care of the home, somebody taking care of the yard, somebody taking child to school. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying, well, I can afford all that. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
You know, right? I mean, when I go to Africa, I don't drive. I can pay space. You know, the money that I'm earning, I can pay somebody to drive me when I'm there. You follow what I'm saying, right? So you go with that kind of money. The lifestyle that you know, the lifestyle that you can live is far outweighs what you're doing in England, sticking in a room and all these sort of things. When I see your elders walking and suffering in England, I'm saying,
why?
Why? You understand?
I know. Listen. I see.
You know,
I see it every day. I see it every day when I'm over here, and I'm even just walking around. You think, oh, come on now. Why are we? Why? What is it that you're afraid of? That you can't go and say, you know what? You come to an age now, and you know, you need to have a better quality of life.
Exactly. And I wanted to take my mother there, right? Because I'm saying, look, kind of money we have, I could have provided a 24-hour nurse for her. You understand? On the wages that we have to pay down there, could have paid somebody to be looking after her 24 hours. But it's only that she didn't want to go. But the point is, that's what I'm saying. Look, Mom, come. Get your home. I can get 24 hours of you, take somebody to take care of you. It's a lot cheaper than being in England. I mean, if in England, instead of allowing these people to be taking you home, you know, putting you in home, and then the government taking all your money, better you come to Africa. Bring your parents to Africa and pay. You know, it's a lot cheaper, right, to get the care than you do in England.
Yeah.
So disagree is the wrong word, but I would challenge some of those thoughts.
Go ahead, sister.
My first challenge is, if the elders weren't traveling before they got to an age, because we never know, because we don't know when it's going to get to a point where we can't travel. But if you weren't traveling before, then you're not likely to want to do it when you get to a certain age. The thing that keeps them, some individuals, and this is what I've heard, is family. So even if they want to travel, one partner may not want to, and or the children or grandchildren keeps them there. So they're prepared to sit in that one room watching that television, or having the television watching them, whatever the case may be. because of the children and the grandchildren, so they've got that pull. But if they've not had a heart to even travel around the UK, they're not going to travel to, whether it be the Caribbean, which may be their first point of call, let alone Africa, because that's a generation who would have heard things about Africa that were totally untrue, but they wouldn't have traveled in order to know the difference, because we know the television doesn't tell the truth.
Well. I agree with your sister, but again, coming back to my mother. My mother was there, right? And in the early age, she had cancer operation, and she used to suffer with arthritis very badly. Okay. At the age of 50, I said to her, "Look, mother, you have to go home. You can't stay here because things." Okay. She had already built a house at home, right? But she went home, right? Okay. Because me and my brother, we were working, we can help and so forth. And then later on, she got her pension. She didn't need anything. But when she went home, she had no intention to come back here. We had to drag her back here when the volcano came. You understand? Right? She had no intention to come back here because she was living it up. She go to the sea every day and she swim. She gets her fresh food that she eats and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? Right? And this is what I'm saying, because she said, when I leave Montserrat in the 50s, I had no intention to go back. But when I go back and I see people living in better houses, and better conditions than I'm living in England, she wanted, and she then built her house. And she was happy to move there. So that's what I'm saying, that many people need to start preparing, you understand, themselves.
Yeah. And I think that's where the challenge lies, is that preparation isn't done until when it's too late. When their ailments are, the National Health Service is actually better in the UK, rather than the support and the good food that they could have got that could have warded off some of those diseases in the earlier days, if they were just getting a bit more sunshine and getting a healthy food and eating a healthy food. But I'd also put a caveat on that, in that different countries, and I'll use Jamaica as an example. I remember back in the day going to a meeting with Jamaica National Bank, and it was an open forum, and there were lots of people there, and they were talking about individuals coming back to Jamaica, those who had left Windrush era, but even the younger ones who wanted to come back and experience. And the thing that they use that phrase, if you're going to build in Jamaica, build 2 bus stops away from the district that you grew up in. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand that language. It's only coming out here and being out here and seeing how my mother managed to cope out here, and by chance her journey is 2 bus stops away, and it just makes things so much easier. So as much as they want to come back, they may fear coming back because of the pressure that's put on them by the community who are here, that think, well, you've been in the UK for, and they've counted the number of years. You may have not have remembered the number of years since you've travelled, but someone else has been counting, and they've almost worked out how much you've earned, even though they weren't there dealing with the cold, the ice, and all the discrimination and all the struggles that as a person who's come over during that generation has had to deal with. And they put pressure on their people. So again, you've got individuals who say, I'm not coming over here because I don't need the pressure. I will prefer to stay in that 1 bedroom. It's not ideal, but no pressure. I can shut my door. No one troubles me. And that's the disadvantage of shutting the door, because that's not how we're meant to live.
Yeah. I understand.
I agree with you, sister, that that this situation is there. But what I'm saying to you, there are places in Africa, like I was telling my brother, that, Africa has got 50 something countries, and it's not everywhere that there is problem. There are countries that you can go and probably leave your door open and you go out and you come back and everything is okay. There are places like that in Africa. You understand what I'm saying? And it's just a matter of finding one of these places. And as I say, right now, let's say where I'm living, I live there with my condition. I need help. So I can employ people because of the wages, right? I mean, the wage. I mean, and people mustn't look at all because their wages structure is different. As I said, when I went to England in '65, wages for women was only £5, and they have to live on that. So you go according to the countries and the time and everything like that. So if the wage structure is there, what the government is paying the people, right? You have to take that into consideration. If the government is paying the people $1 a day, then that's the rate for the country. You understand me, right? You can't say, well, they're paying them bad. That's the economy of the country. You see? Right? Yeah. So what I'm saying is that the pounds that you have, and you go back to these countries in Africa, you can live very, very large.
Yeah, and I'd agree with that 100%. The quality of life, the things that you can get. And if I use an example and a conversation I was having recently with someone, and we were talking about the teachers leaving Jamaica in droves, going to the Americas, UK and Canada, because they're earning more money. But in earning more money, they get more stress. They live in a completely different way, whereby a number of them end up having to do extra studies, offer extra tuition in order to make ends meet. Whereas in Jamaica, you can actually live, and it depends on how you choose to live, or in Africa's, depends on how you choose to live, but you can live really well, making use of the resources.
I mean, especially if you have, something to give you an income, or let's say even if you had a property in England and you rent it out, like one brother is saying, the property that I have in England, I mean, because I know some sisters and they've moved to Africa. They rent the property out up here, and the money they're getting from that property is enough to keep them in Africa.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Right? So this is the difference.
I would encourage anyone to go out, travel, and like you say, there are many countries. There's the 52 countries in Africa, because they're not what the media tell us. Go out, look, and put things in place so you've got that opportunity. Because you put things in place, you've been able to live, travel, and experience. But we don't all do that when we're younger. Sometimes when we're younger, we live for the now. And that may not include the traveling, which for me is the greatest experience anyone can have. If you've got that opportunity to travel to the Africas, to the various countries, so that you can dispel the lies and the myths for yourself. And you can, if you see the opportunity of buying land, just buy it. You don't even know what you're going to do with it. But have the faith that, if I buy it now, and this is a place that I feel comfortable and my spirit feels comfortable, later on, as you're earning and you're working in the UK, you can send the money back, or you can go yourself and build something. You don't have to build the equivalent of left wing and right wing mansion. Build something small that you can live in and you can manage. And then when you're out there, you can extend it to the left wing and the right wing and have all the amenities. Because like you say, the money will go far if you're spending it correctly.
Well, I give you an example. Okay, I mean, my father-in-law, he had a good job. That's fine. But my mother-in-law, she was the builder, right?
Mm.
She was the brain behind the development. And he goes here and this much. But she was always looking at opportunity.
Mm.
And what she said to me is, 300 blocks make a room. And she has encouraged so many people to build their own houses. Why are you renting a house? You have a land over there, right? Somebody would have a land, but they're still renting a place. Say, go and put up a room there. And the money that you're spending to rent,
Pay the rent.
you could put another room,
Mm.
you know, and in time you'll have a house, right? You can do that here in Africa. You might not be able to do that in England because they want to have a complete house. But I'm just showing you how. And when she died, she had 5 children, and everyone had their own home, right? This is a woman in Africa, right? She not just have one house that everybody's fighting over, and 5 houses, one for each child. You follow what I'm saying, right? And just using that method. Hey, wait a minute. You know what? Opportunity come. I have some land. I get some blocks, right? I put down. Take the cement, right? So if I buy some blocks, 25 blocks every month or whatever it is, that money I can't spend it because I already put the blocks down there. When I get to the 100 blocks, I put up a room. You see what I'm saying? And she builds these houses.
I hear you, and I applaud the thought, the encouragement that your mother gave to you and to others. Keep it simple, rather than going out there and having to build this big monstrosity that you don't know. You could be on the left side, and it takes forever to finish because you started so large. Whereas do the know your number of blocks, build your one room, and extend from there. For me, that's the way to do it. You're not proving anything to anybody. You're not showing off. What you're doing is that you're part of the community, and in being part of the community, you're living like members of the community. You've just got your advantage in terms of you've got funds coming over from the UK that will help you to live, but also help you to pay for a cleaner, which you may not have had in the UK. Pay for the gardener, which you may not have had in the UK. Pay for the driver, may not have had in the UK. So you're getting the employment within the community, and you're giving others a chance to do things for themselves and or their families.
Well, exactly, and as I said, right now in Africa, everybody who works in the city is an employer, right? Everybody who works. I mean, I remember my sister-in-law. She came to England. She said, "You couldn't pay me to live here," right? So, she's working in town. She has her children. When she has somebody to take care of, when the children come to school or take them to school, and when she comes home, they're all cleaned up and so forth, and she has some time with them and other things like that. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't pay me to live in here. Because, all these struggles that you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Well, if you have the money, I'm not saying, because many of us have, that's where our living comes from, right? What I'm saying is once you develop that income and you have a house, you're living in a house that can give you 60,000. I mean, 600,000 pounds, 500,000 pounds, 400,000 pounds. It's time to say, well, look, you know what? Let me make an investment here in Africa. Put up something there, right? Put up a piece of land or whatever it is, and start putting down the foundation.
Yeah.
And as you say, later on, as life goes by, the children come and say, "Hey, look, Mama is down in Africa. She's got a house on. Let us go for a holiday." Right? When you go, right? And as I said to you, the care you can get is just unbelievable. I had it. Look, I can't walk because I mean, when I say can't walk, I only have one leg, and my stump I had a problem with last year. I was there. Okay,
Mm.
I went to the hospital, and they did the operation. I came back home. Same day, I came back home. The doctor used to come to my house and see me. I'm leaving my house. I'm not. I have people to take care of me. You understand what I'm saying, right? You know. So I mean, if I had to be in the hospital or here in the hospital, it would be a problem for me, or even in the house because I don't have anybody around, and that's one of the things which I look at and saying, but you know what? When I went to England, you know, back home there was always somebody you can look out the window and talk to somebody. Here in England, who do you talk to? Your neighbor is there, and you don't even know the neighbor. You understand what I'm saying? You know. And that for me is a different quality of life. As I said, the day I walked there, I saw Africa for me because I said, if you're earning money and you have a certain kind of money, and that's why I can't understand why all these film stars and entertainers and so forth destroy themselves in the land of America when they could have gone to Africa and lived very, very large indeed. You understand what I'm saying? You know, they could have gone to Africa and lived very, very large. I mean, have you ever heard anything about Stevie Wonder? Stevie Wonder, have you ever heard anything about him? How many people know that he lives in Africa?
Okay.
You know?
I didn't realize.
Yeah, he's been living in Africa for years. And I mean, you know, paparazzi and all these people, he's not living in LA where that you get all these people and so forth. You understand me? Most of our artists, they want to go play and live up there in Hollywood and all these places. And many of them end up in problems. Right?
He's made different choices which suit the longevity of life.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes,
exactly. Yeah. Sister Sandra, circumstances and circumstances. Now you spent quite a bit of time in Jamaica there now, right? Are your intentions to change your residency?
To be fair, the quick answer is no.
Okay.
Because there's or
is it just not the time for you to do that right now?
I look out and I see the greenery and I feel the sunshine and I sweat and I wipe off the sweat with a towel. And I know that in the UK, I'm not going to see the greenery. Because even when I open the door, I've got to walk to the park, which is about 10 minutes. Between now and then, I'm going to see the sporadic tree, not the trees. And I'm not like to feel the sunshine. So for me,
and they're not fruit trees that you can walk and pick up the mango off the ground as you walk.
I'm not even going to go there with that one because I recognize that
she knows not to play with me emotionally.
I was having a conversation with someone yesterday and they were offering me guinea, and I said, I've eaten too much. I don't love it enough. When you can turn food down, you know that you're in the right place. Because I know that there's something else, and there's cherries, and I've got cherries on the tree, and I prefer to eat my cherries, and I'll make my drink with my cherries. So it's just having so many options that you can pick, choose, and refuse that I wouldn't have in the UK. There's a quality of life that will improve the longevity, and it depends on whether or not what you're eating and where you're eating. But I would, if there's anyone out there thinking about it, my first point of call would be taking a little TUI trip to Caribbean, or taking a flight
If
to
you haven't done it for a while.
and just to go and look, dispel those myths. The challenge that I saw around me was the people over here like the fast food and they're living too much. There's too few people that's got a pot in their yard that they're cooking in, because everyone seems to be walking with a polystyrene box every day of the week, not just on a Ben Johnson day, not just on a Saturday, not just on a, everyone's walking with one from morning to night. And you're thinking, no, you guys need to be cooking in your yard so you know what you're cooking. You're sourcing your own food, cook what you grow. But I would say, yeah, take the opportunity. It's a different rhythm. And the thing about life in London, you don't get a chance because you're on that continuous treadmill.
Exactly.
And as much as the national health may be good, if you're eating the right foods and you've got the sunshine, you may not even need the national health.
Because you're maintaining.
Yes. Yes, a standard of living that's supporting you rather than breaking you down.
Breaking you down, you know. Breaking you down. Well, boy, I'm going to say that the only thing that is keeping me here right now is my mother. So that's the only thing that's keeping me here right now. So we have to see what I'm going. Yes, so, but I'm looking forward to my release papers soon.
Yeah, well. As I said, I mean, that's what I would encourage many people to do. As you rightly say, do the traveling to Africa, see which country you really like, get some piece of land, start putting up a little foundation so that even when you go down in the future, I don't have to go and stay in a hotel because I've got 2 rooms. I've got a room and a bedroom, and just to put up a room, mostly in Africa, especially if the land is level or whatever, okay, and the bed, a bathroom, a kitchen, what, about 10,000, less than 10,000 pounds?
Right. Okay. Then. Watch it now. You see what you just said there? Imagine now. You got a family. You got a family, and you want to take them on vacation and everything, right? You have my thinking is now 10 families come together, right? Initial input to £2,500-3,000, right? So that's 10 families. So that's £25,000 right there. So you could build a home, a sizable home that is gonna hold a 3-4 family, 3 to 5 member family. Yeah. Each of you just have the vacation when as and when you can, when you can attend. Yeah. And like obviously if there's any spare in between that, you can rent it out, which will probably cover its maintenance anyhow.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then over the years of when you would have been going on holiday, family holidays, you're talking about three to £5,000 per holiday now, right? So over those years, the amount that you would actually save in doing that, right? And even if you say, okay, then for the time of my children to grow to adulthood, right? So you're taking it like 10 years or so, whatever. Right? Because there's many of us who go to the same place every year while the children are growing up, Then it's only when them up on the way that you will start spread out a bit more. But you don't have to do it by yourself. That's the thing.
100%, my brother. 100%. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. If we can stop being selfish and say, look, hey, man, brother, let us put up a house in Ghana together. Let us put up a house in Tanzania together. As you say, 10 families, and you put up a house there. Hey, maybe January, one family want to go down and spend some time. Maybe, you understand what I'm saying, right? and it maybe cost you £5,000 each to do that. You know what I'm saying? Put up a good property that you all can go and you know, if you're friends in the neighborhood or whatever, you know, if there's 5 of you who are good families, put some money, buy a place, and say, hey, look, man, we can go down and stay. You know what I mean? And, you know, as I said, for me, I've been traveling since 1973. And since after that, I carry my clothes. My clothes used to be in home. I only used to walk with a briefcase. When I'm traveling, I say, hey, I just pick up my briefcase and I'm off. Because I don't move around with clothes. I don't move around with, in clothes. You understand what I'm saying? If there's a place I'm going to on a regular basis, my clothes is already there. You follow me? And even in Montserrat, I used to have my car, so I leave it with my cousin. When I go down, he meets me at the airport. My car is there for me. I drive. You understand? I got a cheap Mini, and it was there. Even when the Hurricane Hugo come, that was what my family was using to drive them around, because there was a car there. You see, any members of the family came in on holiday, there's a car there for them to use.
Yeah, you know, all these type of things, and you know, we have to get out this singular thinking and acting as well. You know, you're not going to do it all by yourselves. You know what I mean? You're not going to do it all by yourselves, but you know that is the way how some people think.
And that's what I'm saying about Jamaica. I look at Jamaica in the context of Montserrat. Jamaica has got, like Montserrat had a lot of, every family more or less had somebody outside in foreign. And they send money back home. And the family at home do something with that money, put up a little house, whatever it is. So when they come down, there's someplace. And I'm saying, if Jamaica were doing the same thing, because nearly every Jamaican has got people out foreign, and they're sending money back home. And if they applied that thing, Jamaica would not be in the problem that it is now.
I don't know. There'll be some bang belly man down this, because that has been done many a time. People have spent a lifetime sending money down, and when them down, they don't even see 2 brick together.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That wasn't the case in Montserrat. In Montserrat, the case, when the people go down, there was a home. Grandmother built a house, or auntie built a house, and there was something there for them. You understand me, right? And that's why I'm saying, the Association, please get that mindset has got to be changed in the people, because because it shouldn't be like that. Because majority of countries, people send money back home. That's why people travel. You know, I go down to Dubai, you see a lot of Indians that they're working there in foreign money because the money is more. They can send it to India, send it to Philippines, and they can get their families to build houses for them. Why is Jamaica different? I don't understand that. I really don't understand.
Boy. You know? Anyway. Oh dear. Sandra just shaking her head.
Because
you're laughing.
Part of our DNA, and I'm going to say that in inverted commas, is that divide and conquer. And some of us are still living in that mindset, even though we're over here.
Nastiness.
So when the money comes over, it's not going to where it's meant to go. And what's mine is mine, and what's yours is mine, is some of their mentality. And it's hard, because you think to yourself, okay, I come out here, and even now, we're talking about 2023, I hear things and I see things, and I think to myself, we've not changed. You've just got another generation doing exactly the same thing as their parents did. And their parents before them. They're just taking advantage of what they can get. And the sad thing is, if they did flex differently, they would actually get that plus. But because of the way they flex, you just step back.
Yeah.
No. You guys aren't coming right. You guys are coming thinking that, yeah. I like that. I like that. No, you don't have to like that. You live somewhere. Look after where you live. Don't just every time you see me, I like.
You know what it is, and the thing is that you can't blame them 100% in that, because obviously if they don't come and experience and they don't see what it is, right? They will never know. They will never know the beauty what them have they saw, right? They will never know. And then some of them, you know what? It's not for them. It's not for them. Just like how some people will go there and say, "Nah, man, we can't live here, so." Right? There's some who are living in it, but it's not for them. That's not where they want to live. You understand? They would love to come and live in a concrete block. You understand? They would love to come, they would love to come and do this. Yeah. Understand? So although we say, oh, it would be better here, there, whatever. It all depends on the individual as well,
Yeah, who they're flexing with and who they're moving around. Like I said, even in 2023, recently, I've seen some of the moves that people are making amongst individuals, and this is the first time they've been over here. They're young, and I will use the word impressionable. And it's almost like others just recognize the vulnerability, and we're just taking advantage. To the point you needed to pull them out of that situation, because if you left them in that situation, they'd walk out of there with no clothes in their suitcase, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that they're going home. And no money in their bank account, nothing to do with the fact that they're going home. So,
yeah. Anyhow, the lines are open on 0203-289-6504 if you would like to come into the conversation over here. Right here, right? So it's 0203-289-6504. If you'd like to come into our conversation, or you can text with a message on 079-47479-219. Right? And I'm not taking any calls on the text line. Trust me.
it'd be interesting for anyone for our listeners to ring and just, what's your experience? And we're not only speaking experience in terms of Jamaica, but Africa's, any of the countries in Africa or any other countries in the Caribbean. What's your experience? And what provision have you made or are making for your future? Where is your future? So that's 3 questions. Do you see your future in the Africas, the Caribbean, or in the UK? And what provision are you making? Because let's start the dream. Let's start the thought process. So what provision are you making in order to make it happen?
I've got two callers who've just joined us. Right, 4961 first, and then we'll allow our next callers are coming after. Right, 4961.
Yes.
Greetings.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to everybody. Good afternoon to Sandra in GA and Uncle Akram in New York, or wherever you are, Akram. Y'all seem to be all over the place.
All over the place.
I'm one of the members of the ESU, the membership secretary.
Okay, great.
So,
great.
Akram knows me well.
I am pushing for memberships on that as well, this strong as well.
Some here. But me, I look for your membership too. Couldn't find you at Mark Derby evening. I was looking for you.
Was it?
I was looking for you. Was you there?
Well, where?
Marcus Garvey.
No. I had some home duties to deal with. I had some home duties.
Yes, I understand.
So I couldn't reach out to that. Anyhow.
No.
Anyhow, yeah. Carry on, my sister.
Yeah, I was listening to the conversation about going back home and doing certain things. I've written a poem many years ago about leaving Montego Bay that day with my grip in my hand and flying to the the motherland. I fly. Me leave the rock, but we soon come back. Anyway, 10 year, 20, 30, 40. The party no hearty. It's over and done. I'm praying to go home. I did work for £2.06 then. It did make sense. Mr. Simit, Mr. John, how long? I'm praying to go home. It then goes on to talk about the conditions. Cook up on the landing, standing, burning the rice and peas. What a tease. I'm praying to go home. Anyway, the doctor said I'm sick in my head and I'm soon dead. I'm dying to go home. It's a longer version. I wrote this about 30 years ago.
Okay.
About people's plight in this country. But he said, I told immigration man, say me not tongue long. But it turned to 20, 30, 40. So I look at that situation in that a lot of us want to go home, can't go home. We came as very young people. We're now leaving as maybe middle age. And sometimes you cannot cope at that age to go back to Jamaica because there's so many complexities. You would have left family, you'd have left children. So, you know, over the last 20, 30 years in this country, you know, you've been feeding your family back home, your family here. As one white woman said, you can't look after two homes, only one. So we suffered. And when we do go home, that big complexity of pressure to build that coffin house. When I say coffin house, the house so big,
yes,
you die. You're going from one quarter to the next quarters. And then you got these big bulldogs barking at you like a mad something. Then you got burglar bars. And I said, well, how am I to leave here to go back to somewhere like I'm a prison? I'm imprisoned in my own home. I'm tackled by the family around me, stripped by the family around me. I can't go home. So, and that burden, that pressure, which is handed down through the family, we hand down that pressure by sending barrels down, sending goods down. My mother left me with that pressure. That pressure then turned on to my other brothers. We all started doing it. And so when you go home and you see a family in that condition, it's not nice. But how do you help a family of maybe 30, 40 members all crying out for help? How you can help them? You try to help one. You help one, it fails. You try to help another one, them will rob you. What do? You say, well, let me turn to England.
I hear that one. I hear that one. I hear that one strongly. One of my visits down there, I got vexed with them, you see, because the way they were treating the way they were treating their own mother. Let's put it that way. I got vexed with them, and I said, you know something, you lot should feel ashamed. Because it's me one with my mother, right? And you are called we to come eat we out. Look how much I own. 5 and 6 and all them things there. You're telling me said that you can't put together and look for your own mother? Are you crazy? I got vexed with them, boy. I tell you, I must have said the right thing because I never get a next call from them.
That's one of problem there. You don't bother with him. Left him out there.
Yeah.
No, we don't in him.
Yeah.
It's too mean.
Well, whatever them call me, I don't care.
But we have to look at it historically. In that, we have come, our parents came to this country and worked. And a lot of them showed up on the people then back home. Coming out of planes with fur coat, I don't know if you heard that before. Walking around high, spending all the money, flashing it around, building that big house. People say, yeah, man, you have money. And when you say, well, how much is the plane fare? Some people don't even earn that money in a year, or even 2 years. And you say, when I beg your money, you tell me, nah, none, you know. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. So, you know, you are under the cloak of what happened before. And it's a serious thing. If you had a family went down there and showed up, flashed their money, got OG, got Montego Bay, big party. You take your little nephew along. He say you have money.
Yeah.
So when you come back to England, oh uncle, me I try look at job and me I try do something. You send me something. How you gonna sit here in the UK with maybe £50 in your hand? You know, must send it.
That's right. That's right.
And then so
you
it
know,
goes on.
one of the,
letter.
I don't want to take away the conversation from everybody else, but one of the other things that I find is that, you know, our parents who have been able to go and return back to the like the Caribbeans and the Africas, the monstrosity of homes that they have built over there. And I say monstrosity, 8-10 bedroom homes, right? And the thing is that the people or their children here don't even earn enough to maintain them home they saw in Jamaica.
Yeah, no, that's right. I bought a flat up just out of Bull Bay, a big sprawling, a lot of expats. I saw a house halfway off a cliff. It came onto the cliff just to build the yard. And I said, what the hell is that? And it had 3 floors. So as you went up the mountain, the house was on the mountain. And it is on a level. I said, well. But they're coffin houses because that's all it is. You're going to dead in there. You won. So I said, what do you mean? So I said to the guy, what do you mean coffin? What coffin? He said, no, coffin.
Yeah.
Nobody in there.
Nobody
Last
in there.
story.
That's right.
Last
That's right.
story.
That's right.
Driving around in St. Thomas, you know, with a taxi man in a expat area. You see that house there? And Mr. Bill, you know, when he come, in there 2 weeks before he come. See that house there? The family arguing over the will.
Yeah.
And you know we can't come down. See that house there? So then come down, man and wife, they kill them in there. You see, that's how it went on.
Yeah.
I don't know if
let me bring our next caller into this conversation, yes, sir. Right.
Thank you.
Where we at?
Greetings.
Greetings.
Is it me, yeah?
Yes. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I've been zipping in and out of the conversation, so I hope I don't repeat anything. But I just want to agree with the caller just before me.
Brother Akram.
Yeah, it is a big problem out there. People building these big houses. I mean, some of them houses, they never ever get finished. Some of them got no roof on it, and they've been like that for 20 years. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
They call them castles.
Coffee house.
I like that phrase. And I see it so many times traveling around.
Yeah. But one other thing I wanted to say, because I heard someone talking about 1,000 acres of land.
Yeah, that's that Brother Akram.
Right, yeah. Now, right, the thing about this is that when we're talking to our people, we've got to be kind of realistic, and we've got to really think about what we're saying and what we want to do. Because the average person that we're talking to right now, the average black person that I'm talking about that we're talking to right now, we're lucky in this country. We're lucky to have a 3-bedroom house, and in today's day and age, we're lucky to even have a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
So even 1 acre is a lot,
and that's why I broke it down. That's why I broke it down.
Okay, right, yeah.
You see, because 1,000 acres, right? That's a little city, a little village.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
1 acre is like the size of a football pitch.
Exactly.
So you know, so for the average black person, thinking in terms of an acre or maybe 2 acres, it's more realistic for them to like say, okay, that's my target. Let me go and see that. When you start talking about 1,000 acres, even 50 acres, you're blowing their mind.
No. That is like consortium type size money for them type place there.
Yeah, you're it's a different level altogether. I know
it may have been that the person who handed the brother the land, he thought that he was going to do, because that's development land where you develop it to make a small city or a small a catchment area for people to come and live. He would have said to him, "You look after this, take this, and see if you could develop it and bring people in." That's what he most probably told him. It wasn't 1,000 acres for him. There's no way somebody can develop 1,000 acres on their own.
It seems like it was just him one trying to do something, or him one doing something. But that is just mind. For the average black person, it's mind blowing. They won't understand that. It's when something is too far in the distance, you don't even bother to even start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's what it seems like to me. That not just with that individual, but us as a whole.
We should just deal with one plot at a time.
One plot, 1 acre, and just then build on that.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've done that, once you've achieved that, then build on to the next level. Maybe get another 2-3 acres or whatever. Then do, but to just start jumping in and say we want to raise X amount of money to develop 1,000 acres. No, we've been doing this for 70 years.
Some people can't even manage their garden, much less.
Exactly.
When I tell people to, I grow food, and you tell people just even put down a couple of seeds and go to market. Oh, it's too hard work, and then gone.
Yeah.
It's not nice. I've been on a farm.
And you're talking about people over here working 18 degrees. When you go to Africa, you're talking about something completely different.
It's true.
Look.
When I'm up in the hills, they said to me, "Come off the hill, sun soon turn on you." Yeah, you have to go in the mist. By the time we reach on the back, I'm sweating like nobody's business. Believe too late. We really have to research where we're going.
And this is the thing that
you can't leave it out too late. I can't run up and on the beach when I'm 70 years old. I know that. I wouldn't spoil for anybody. You have to leave out in good time.
And the thing is, time is running out. That's the sad thing. Time is kind of running out because more and more people, and we're not talking about more and more people, I'm talking about non-Africans, are now seeing the potential of Africa, and they're not staying. Every time I go out there, I just see more and more people who don't look like out there, and it's just, to me, it's like time is running out. And when I was there, because I didn't have the opportunity to go this year. When I was there last year, the cost of land now jump. Oh my gosh! I just thought to myself, wow, this is
exactly.
You have to, when you see a piece of land and it's reasonable within your reach, buy it.
That's what Sister Sandra said. Yeah,
I did buy it one time, just done. That was £5,000, and it was a beach plot. That was 15 years ago. Yeah.
In what country?
Jamaica.
In Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right.
No. That is that's going to be probably about 50,000 now. So don't look to think that you're going to go there and buy a beachfront for 5,000 now. Yeah.
And it was a woman who was wanting to leave and go to Canada. She never wanted.
Mm-hmm. All right, then let me bring our next caller into this, please. 61.
Sorry, y'all.
Yeah. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, it's just a quick one for Sandra.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you finished the analogy about. Yeah, I'm not sure if you finished the analogy about living one bus stop away from where you meant to.
Yeah. 2 bus stops.
2 bus stops. Yeah, if she could just finish the analogy for me, because I don't think she quite finished it.
Okay, then go ahead.
She said I ended up living in that sort of position, but after that I didn't hear the rest of it, the end of it.
Okay, then. Yeah. Okay, that's no problem. Go ahead.
All right, good.
Sandra.
Okay, so the way that it works is then that if any of the family were visiting, the fact that if it's 1 bus stop, they can always find their money. The fact that it's 2 bus stops, as in 2 taxi rides, from where they're starting to one point, and then another taxi ride from that point to the yard. That discourages them 99.9%. Now, the thing and the trick about it is that the second taxi ride, you could walk it in 20 minutes. They're not choosing to walk it. They want to jump in the taxi, which is a 5-10 minute journey. So when they say be at least 2 taxi rides away, the analogy then, which my mother had shown in how she lived and where she lived, it just discourages the family from coming down for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and forever on a regular basis, just dropping in. And then when they just drop in, mother, with the heart that she had, would always give them something, because there's always something on the fire, there's always something in the cupboard. So she'd feed them, and then she'd give them money to get them back home. Mm-hmm. But if you're less than the 2 bus stops away, they will effectively choose to consciously visit you on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm. The 2 bus stops, it's no go.
It's no go, because that's money that they can find the first money, but they highly unlikely they'd find the second money. But like I said, the second money you could walk it.
Well, you know that they're doing the wee mad, because when we walk a lot of places. Come out of the sun. Is it too hot for them?
Yeah, they don't do the walking. They don't do it.
They're not like.
No,
they're
sir.
not like walking.
No, sir. We're not going there.
Okay. Yeah, they see me coming then. There's a hill going up to Needham Pen, and it takes you about 20 minutes by car. It's about 1,000 feet above sea level. And we've all said, let's try and walk it. We walked. It took us about an hour and a half. You could imagine how we felt when we reached the top. And they used to say, years ago, there was no taxi and a dirt road, and we had to walk up. I said, wow, that shows in the metro. I said, yeah, them good. But that's the old people, them. That's not good.
Different generation. Yeah. The younger ones.
Them soft.
Yeah, they'll take a taxi regardless of the time of day, and you think to yourself, but I can see where you got off, because it's a straight road and you've not gone far, but you've still taken a taxi. But they can find the $120 in that respect, or the $200, but the extra 120 or 200 to bring them down here, they can't find. And it's in mother's favor. It was in mother's favor.
Yeah.
What a wicked woman, wasn't you?
The thing is then that they do, because rather than sending a barrel, and one of the callers was speaking about sending a barrel, rather than sending a barrel, you end up feeding them on a daily basis. And when they come
I remember when I first went down to Jamaica down there, I was there with my father, and my brother picked up this boy there. He used to just follow us around everywhere. And then we was there one afternoon, and I'm an eater, right? So no matter where me stop, me I go buy something to eat. And he just looked at me and he say, "Why you eat in one day what I would eat in a week? You know that?" And I said, "Well, because I was training at the time, I was training, so I'm eating like 3-4 times a day, easy, yeah."
Wow.
And he said, when I'm with you, it's only when you eat that I eat, And I say, right?
Yeah, it's true.
Right? And then as he said it, I said, so that means you would never put your hand in your pocket to go buy anything then, right? And he just look at me, and then he turn him fierce. He turned him fierce.
but you have to ask him, he must not have it. Have it.
Yeah, no,
he not have it.
But as I say, but that was one of the first times. That was one of the first times when I went down there,
Yes.
So obviously, I'm just testing the water. So I'm just free with my language. I'm just free with my language. I'm a chat, you know. But obviously, I don't know how all them live, because as far as I'm concerned, they're in the land of paradise. As far as I'm concerned, you understand?
Even though you
some people only eat twice a day.
Even
I
though
know,
you
and that's what I found out. That's what I found out later on, that some people only eat once a day, and other things there. Yeah.
Yeah, but even though you say they don't have it, they've got, and this is possibly the poor side of it. They've got access to the jelly coconut. They've got access to the foods, the mangoes that we have to pay how much for a box of mangoes in the UK, and it's not even good. How much we have to pay for a pen?
Exactly.
If they did bring one or two of those with them, it will show willing.
Yes, I hear you. You're not like the old set of the parents, them really and truly, you know. That's a different. They're looking to you to look about them.
Yeah. Because you know how one of the habits that we have here is that we go and do our shopping. We do like our supermarket shopping and all them things, right? Who tell me to go do that?
They see everything in there.
Hey, who tell me to go do that? God. One time I come there, the next day the cupboard was bare. The cupboard was bare. I tell you.
Can I just put a caveat? Just go back to what the brother was saying earlier on. We don't, as much as the experiences, and we can laugh about the experiences, that's not the experience for everybody. And some of our family will put their hand in their pocket, and we shouldn't not say we're coming out here just because we're only living one bus stop away, or where they're going to come down and they're going to eat us out of house and home. Let's take our experiences, and if it doesn't work in Jamaica, go to Africa. As it's been said, there's more than one country. And if
there's a lot of Jamaicans who's moved to Africa. A lot of them.
Yeah. Ghana and Jamaica looks exactly the same. Same food, same climate, same greenery, same terrain. Check it out.
It's true. But people still are run down to Jamaica, I know that.
I'm not doubting
it. I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to get an influx of Africans coming to Jamaica now.
See you on the other side.
Yeah.
The Reggae syndrome. You want to feel that vibe.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised, because as they open up the airlines now, you will see it out there, innit? You'll see that happen.
Yeah, so it'll be a good mix, to tell you the truth. So the Africans can experience.
I think it will, and I'm hoping that the new generation will come and teach them something, you know.
True.
Right? Not just.
I know Jamaicans are very, very talented.
Yeah, of course.
Extremely talented.
The thing is that a lot of people don't realize that although there's a brain drain, but those brain drains have been extremely effective in whatever field that they've been going into. Right? So there's doctors, I say professionals. There's a lot of professional people who are Jamaican out there as well. So no, don't feel say that everybody's a domestic worker when them come. So yeah.
True.
Well, I've just added another new caller on there.
Let me listen offline, Aston, but thank you very much.
Okay, then no problem. You're more than welcome.
I love the poem, and you know what? It'd be beautiful if you could come back another day and read the full poem.
I will have. I wrote it 30 years ago, so I do remember great parts of it, and it can always be. And I was reading a book. It says, "When we come to England," and in there was a line about the cooker and the landing. I said, "What?" They must teach me work.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody plagiarized your work.
No, I doubt it. But
right. Listen. On the back of that, before you go, we've got the 40th anniversary for Galaxy coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a thought. It's just a thought. How about a spoken word competition? Because we look, I'm putting it out there. I haven't discussed this with the management or anything like that, right? But an anthem. We need an anthem for the 40th, to celebrate our 40th. You know?
Wow.
So you know, you being in your creative mind, you know, let's see what you can come up with for that as well. Yeah.
I'll try, because I'm you know, when I was writing poetry, that was a very creative time, very, very creative, and sometimes I do believe it died a little bit.
Yeah. It's just practice. It's just practice, man. It will never leave you. Never leave you. It'll never leave you.
No, then I'll give it a try.
Yeah, give it
Thank
a
you
go.
very much.
Give it a go. Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Thank you, Rasta.
We'll get you for the Pulitzer yet.
Pulitzer Prize.
Yeah, man.
All right then. As long as it comes with a lot of doses, I'll be very happy.
Right, there you go. I think it's 100. Is it 100 or is it 1 million now? Isn't it? You get 1 million.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, well, who win it last time?
I think it was a writer. It was an actual writer, a young black man. He wrote a book. He wrote a book. Yeah. Yeah. It was a black man.
All right then.
Yeah,
So me can go.
Also, yeah.
Pulitzer, here me come. All right, me come on.
Go on with it. All right then. Who we got left on the line? Who got left on that? Oh, we still have our brother Akram as well with us on the line.
You had another caller. Did you lose them?
Yes, unfortunately. But let's see if they come back again. Another brother, he came to ask you a question, and then there was a sister there. Okay, they'll call back. They'll call back in if they're going to come with another piece of the conversation. Brother Derwin, how you doing, my brother? I know that you're over there getting your sunshine in as well, and eating out the food, because he keeps sharing. He keeps sharing his when he goes out and he's grazing on all the land and all the food and fruits and everything there. I know he ain't spent no money, you know, because you just go and jump over a fence and just grab them things there, just exposing your back foot. Yeah, man, he got some seriously nice fruits there. He's out there, you know. Yeah, man, fresh fruit, man. Yeah, man, yeah. Because he went down to deal with some family business down there, and he's still there. I personally think that he lost his passport, but then again, you know, that's how it goes. He says that he's listening through the laptop. You know, I say greetings to you and your family out there, man. Greetings to you and your family. You know, so yeah, man. You know, beautiful. Yeah, man. Yes, my sister. Go on, listen.
No. There was there someone else on? He's gonna, because we're coming up to the
top of the hour. How have you been able to make any contact with the school, or are they on vacation now?
The school's on vacation, and those I still will speak to. So there were other things, and it was interesting because I was talking to someone about the primary school rather, or the basic school. They call it basic, and how some of the children are 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and they're 3 and 4 and 5. Their level of grammar, being able to speak, was poor. The teachers, and I didn't realize that in the basic schools and the community basic schools, the community needs to pay for the teachers.
Okay.
They never. Well, there's only one teacher that's paid for, and the community help and support the others. And it's just surprising. I didn't realize that it's through the volunteers that some of the basic schools in the communities are actually being able to continue. So you've only got one teacher and the rest are volunteers. And if you've not got the volunteers, it becomes very challenging. That means those children are leaving basic school into primary school, and then they're starting with a disadvantage. So in terms of Miriam's Haven and the work that they're doing, in terms of support that they're giving the children in the community, it's well needed. I can see that Derwin has spoken about celebrations last week Sunday. So last week Sunday, I did mention it on Monday in terms of it was really good. It was really good. It was Fawit Sinting celebrating our African heritage, and that was at Sunset Falls in Portland. And it gave you an opportunity of just the vibes and the culture. I loved it. We got rained upon, but it didn't necessarily dampen the vibes and the culture and what you were seeing and what you were experiencing. So there were people selling food, but others books and other like oils and stuff like that. But then you had drummers, and just standing there and feeling 6 man sit down, not just banging a drum, but you felt the heart or the spirit of the drum.
They were raising the vibration strongly.
Yeah. And they've done it in 2 different quarters, and it was just good. It was really good. Next year, because it's a mother who's handed the baton over to her daughter, because the mother used to do it over the years. We've had COVID, so they had less people. But it's starting up again. So I'm looking forward to next year, whereby there's going to be more people, double the amount of people, because the location is beautiful. And the energy and the vibes is just, it's just worth. And sometimes when we look at traveling to Jamaica, we look for the things that are happening in town, the big things that are happening in Mobay, the concerts with your artists and stuff like that. This was worth the admission. No ways.
That's good, man. That's good. That's good. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. We as we're hitting the top of the hour now, right? That it's a pity that Derwin never call in, right? Because you know that you can Skype in as well, right? Official Galaxy, right? Official Galaxy for we. Okay, you can Skype in if you're on your laptop, as you say you are there, so you could join in the conversation in them ways there too. Okay, all right, Brother Akram, are you still with us? No. I know he's gonna jump in a minute.
So the only other thing I'd say, it being today the 17th, Marcus Messiah's Garvey's Earthstrong. So there are things that are happening in and around Jamaica. St. Anne's, he was born. And in Kingston. So there was something this morning at 8 a.m. in the Emancipation Park. And then they'll be doing something in the evening with artists, spoken word. Mutabaruka will be there, and plus others. So yeah, they're not forgetting.
They're now go forget. They're now go forget. That's brilliant. That's brilliant, and that's brilliant. Yes, Brother Akram, are you with us now?
I'm with you.
We're on the last minutes of the program. This strong here, right? Very, very, very emotive subject of discussion that you brought to us this evening or this afternoon. The ACU, could you give us the contact details for that, please? Because we are encouraging membership, because what I am taking on, and we're incorporating it into the program, is to be part of the reparations, our preparation for our reparations. Yeah. And obviously we have to be looking on that element as well. Yeah. So memberships.
Of course. I mean, the thing is that, as I said, people people don't know what we can achieve. And I continue to tell people, please go and study the Mondragon Cooperative in Spain, because it's one of the largest cooperatives that there is. And as I said, over 70 years ago when they started up, I mean, we were marching for civil rights and other things like that. And they were having a similar problem. They wanted autonomy, they wanted all these things. And they were fighting with the Spanish folk. The preacher there, he said, look, let us form a cooperative. And now the whole town of Mondragon is owned by the people. They own all of it, right? Their grandfathers work in it, their fathers, and everybody come along, they can get a job, And this is something that we have to go back to. It's not something new for us, but it's something that we need to go back to, because the capitalist movement has basically pushed us out from that idea. And we really need to go back to that idea. And part of the reason why, as I said, I looked at that cooperative, I've been looking at it even before Dr. Abu asked the question, what can be done? And I said to him, I know what can be done. Because the point is, if we empower ourselves, we need to develop a company, a business that's bigger than Tata, that's bigger than Alibaba, that's bigger than Walmart. We need to develop our own business, because only then we can compete with the people and, compete with those companies. And the reason for that was because in Kenya I went to buy a kettle and they wouldn't give me in '95, and they wouldn't give me a guarantee.
Right, we're coming into the last 2 minutes now. We're coming into the last 2 minutes.
So let me give you the details of the The cooperative is African Cooperative Union, African with a K, AfricanCooperativeUnion.com, one word. And, you can go there and find out about what we're about. And for those in the UK who wish to, they can become members. From outside, I suggest that they should learn, as I said, I keep telling Rasho, that's what they should be doing in Jamaica, developing cooperatives. That's the only way to beat the situation.
You are start fighting to the place, isn't it? Come on, China. All right, then, thank you.
They had it before. So all they need to do is bring it back.
All right, then. Thank you so much. Last minute, we're coming in it. Eddie, listen, thank you very much for all of you who joined in to This Strong here on the Blacknificent Radio Show. And thank you very much for joining us, Sister Sandra, right? All the callers and the messengers as well. And I would love to see you come back again in the next Strong. Let's do this, right? So let's all sign up for the cooperative union, African Cooperative Union. Let's do it.
Spread out, oh, spread out, oh yeah, oh, ah yeah, oh, spread out, and rock some music. Spread out, oh, spread out, and rock some music. This a sound said it sounds so sweet. You just can't afford not to move your feet. It's a music hard like rock. It's high and colors on the top. Spread out, oh spread out, and rock is a music. Spread out, oh spread out, and rock is a music. It's a music, a cream of the crop. So pop your daughter and come, let's rock. It's a music, a cream of the crop. So pop your daughter and come, let's rock. Spread out, oh spread out, and rock. It's a music. Spread out. spread out and rock this music. Oh no, oh oh, hey, oh oh, oh oh. It's a music so full of bass. It's Indian Carlos on the drum and bass. It's a music, it's so full of bass. It's Indian Carlos on the drum and bass. Spread out, oh spread out, and rock this a music. Spread out, oh spread out, and rock this a music. Oh, oh, why? Ooh, la, oh, yes, I am. Ooh, I met a girl this morning. She was love at first sight. Ooh, I met a girl this morning, and she was beauty to my eyes. I asked her where she from, she tell me in the topics. She asked me what's my name, I tell her I am Connie. And I said, girl, tell me what's your name, and she tell me that her name is Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Ooh, Lord, smile for me, Jamaica. Whenever you cry, here am I. Yeah, I'm here for you, Jamaica. Dry your eyes, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. Lord, hey, she have a rich history. A beautiful woman with the sweetest gifts. Beautiful sunrise and an evening kiss of a nice sunset on the evening season. But she tell me, say she tired. Tired of the exploit and the liars. She give them reggae, give them beaches, give them flowers and the ferns. All she got is abuse in return. But I say, don't you worry yourself, mama. Hey, Chronix is here to your help, mama. Ooh, I said, no worry yourself, mommy. One thing me, I beg you do for me. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Hey, smile for me, Jamaica. Never you cry, here am I. Girl, I'm here for you, Jamaica. What must I try? Oh, my. That she asked me, and this I want me say, a sweet, sweet Chronix, you forget them, give them. The one drop beat pan a rhythm. Are you give them bob with a different step in? Are you give them bolt, nobody can run left him. Boy, but see ya, they must see things say you're out of ideas. You give them art and sweet literature. You're gonna make the world see the better picture. I said, no worry yourself, mama. Chronix is here to your help, mama. Hey, I said, no worry yourself, mommy. One thing me, I beg you do. And I said, smile, yeah, smile. Smile for me, Jamaica. And I said, smile, girl, smile. Wah, 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 wah. For me, Jamaica. Whenever you cry, here am I. Whoa, for me, Jamaica. And I said,